Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this platform, the callers plus invited guests, are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with this brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another show. You're now listening to Season 11. That's right, Season 11 of Debate Talk for You. I'm your host, Sal Showtime, and we are back once again with that classic content. Like I always say, get your pen and pads ready. Get ready to take down some notes. And we have a brand new number, family. The number is 563-999-3674. That's 563-999-3674. That's the number that you can call once you have a question or a comment. We like to hear from the people out there. So if you're listening on social media, if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, if you want to chime in, feel free to dial the number and press the number 1, and we'll add you to the conversation. All the rule that we have is that there's no foul language. You got to keep it clean, keep it professional. By the way, the chat room is officially open on Blog Talk Radio. That's right, the chat room is open. So you just scroll down at the bottom, and you can see a little chat box there where you can interact with me or anyone that's inside the chat. All right, excuse the background noise there. But without further ado, let me introduce my special guest. My first special guest is the host of the Man Up segment right here on Debate Talk for You. This is Bro.BA. Welcome to the program.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your brother B.A. Ben Abraham out of Sackadai, Mental, California. To all who are listening for the first time, welcome to those who are currently listening. And much love to those who are listening to this recorded archive on the YouTube channel. Hey, yo, Sal, this is the 11th season. 11 solid, consistent seasons of pure, edifying content. So Debate Talk for You was still going strong. And praise the Most High. Looking forward to having this conversation. I think overall, as a religious community or whichever we personify to call ourselves, we spend way too much time playing game-bang theology. Now it's time to sit back and see, as if we're still human beings, and if we're actually paying attention to what's going on in the world from a social perspective. So I'm most definitely interested into hearing everyone's view. I really refuse, or I really am not into hearing any type of doctrine. I want to hear, and I would love to see if we're actually in tune with what society is going through right now. And maybe we can most definitely bring some light from the scriptures, no doctrine, but from the scriptures of what's really going on, and bring some clarity to the matter. But with that said, I'm gonna fall back. Shalom.
All right, once again, that's Brother B.A. from the Man Up segment. Let people know, for those that are actually fans of the Man Up segment and actually follow it, what are some of the changes that's going to happen this season when it comes to your segment?
When it comes to the Man Up segment, we're going to deal with more social, political topics. I believe, as a believer in the Most High God, we are supposed to be a light, and we're supposed to be bringing or ushering in a brand new way of thinking for various people on earth. So that's what I understand the scriptures to convey. So I'm at the point to where now, if you're not bringing out information to heal various other people and provoke conscious thought and to bring people to the Most High, then you're wasting my time and you don't exist. That's just as far as it goes for me. I'm all about results. I'm all about being active and getting things done. Debating over the same dead topics will never do anything. We've been doing it for the last 15 to 20 years. Can we do something new? And there you go, Sal.
All right, so there you have it. Here's some other social topics and other topics, of course, in the Man Up segment. And officially it's going to begin in September, right? September, you're going to begin the segment?
Yeah, we're going to start up in September. And I apologize for those who may receive my words as I'm being harsh. I'm not being harsh. It's just that I'm at the point to where we have to show some type of growth. And I'm no perfect example either, but I'm at the point in my life, personally, that we're supposed to show that our studies, we're supposed to apply these things, and it's about time that we actually show and see the results of what we've been studying, what we believe in, and see how effective it is for other people who are not aware. Going back and forth with the same people is useless. It doesn't make any sense. It's burnt out. It's like a bunch of people who just want to gang bang in the streets, in my opinion.
All right, so what we're doing now, we have 2 or 3 more special guests supposed to be calling in. So as soon as they chime in, we're going to bring them in a conversation. But without further ado, let's get this thing started. Again, like I always say, get your pen and pads ready, take down some notes. I see people on the phone lines checking out the show. We appreciate the feeling out there. And again, if you have any questions or comments, simply dial the number 563-999-3674. Make sure you put it on speed dial so because it's easy to get easy access to the program. But this topic today is Black Lives Matter, distraction or progressive movement. Now, I'm in New York City, Brooklyn to be exact, and from what I see, there's still, even today, still more protests going on. They're shutting down bridges, shutting down certain locations in Brooklyn and all over New York City when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. As a matter of fact, if you watch the news, this movement has actually been seen all over the world. I'm talking about the UK, all over the globe, the Black Lives Matter movement. However, there's people out there still out there that say that this movement is a distraction or, it's not what it's cracked up all to be. But we're going to talk about all of those things right now. Of course, we're waiting for other special guests to chime in, but we're going to start with you, being that you're the only one here right now. What is your perspective when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement? Go ahead.
Overall, I believe the Black Lives Matter movement is a beautiful thing. They're bringing into perspective what's going on that we are all aware of that has been going on for God knows how long. So I'm with the movement as far as exposing oppression and injustice. It's very inhumane to sit back and act like that this movement has not brought out anything. You have people in America who have been in denial for so long. It took for George Floyd to be treated the way he was treated for people to actually come out and admit that we have a serious, serious problem in America. So even though it's better late than never. But one thing I want to say is Black Lives Matter, like I said earlier, it's a beautiful thing, and I support and I agree with the Corridor Foundation. But now, are they going to continue to just separate the black struggle from everybody else's struggle? Yes, they're bringing into perspective that Black Lives Matter when it comes to dealing with police officers or dealing with the laws or the injustice system overall in America. I agree. But we're going to have to come to a point to where if you are aware of movements, and throughout the years we've had various movements that come throughout the world, even here in America, they evolve, they grow, they start addressing various issues. And I believe Black Lives Matter, where they're failing at or where they are lacking in, is that, well, I'll say this much: they do have a bunch of various different ethnicities that are involved in the movement, which is good, but they're still not addressing the various problems within the black community if they're going to just call themselves focusing on just black people. We have the conservatives and we have the liberals. The liberals are all for the argument, and the conservatives they say they're for the movement or for the argument. But what they have brought into perspective that a lot of people at first may not have been aware of. Well, what about abortions? What about black on black crime? And I don't agree with neither. Democrat, Republican, they're nothing but a bunch of devils in my opinion. I don't deal with none of them. It's two different wings, but they're the same eagle. So, but the Republicans or the conservatives, they make a very good point. Do Black Lives matter when it comes to babies being aborted? Do Black Lives matter when it comes to black-on-black crime? Do Black Lives matter when we have an abundance of single mothers raising children on their own? Do Black Lives matter when we make up majority of the population in the prison cells? These are legitimate questions that I really believe that we need to bring to the table, and we need to address them. Because if Black Lives matter, you're not only are you going to have to address the situation with the one-on-one encounters with the police, you're going to have to also address issues that are known by various people who are on the outside looking in at our people. And that's pretty much what I got for that, Sal.
All right. Once again, that's Brother BA with his input on the Black Lives Matter movement. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. If you want to chime in, simply press number 1 and we'll add you to the conversation. We have another special guest that's joining us right now. This is actually Mack Thomas. Mack Thomas, welcome to the program.
Hey, shalom, everyone.
All right, man. So, we're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, and I just broke it down like in New York City, at least, what I see, that they're still going on as far as protests. They're still out there protesting and, letting the world know about the Black Lives Matter movement. Some people say, of course, all lives matter, stuff like that, so we shouldn't have the Black Lives Matter movement, yada, yada, yada. What's your perspective when it comes to this particular movement? Is it a distraction or a progressive movement, in your opinion? What do you say, Mack?
I think it's it's a destructive movement. Speaking from my perspective, being a street preacher, I went to a Black Lives Matter rally protest here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and preached there when they had one. It was kind of unexpected, and it kind of shows me that a lot of the things, like even how BA mentioned, abortions, single mothers, children being raised out of wedlock, all these different things that are core issues in the black community. Black Lives Matter does not address none of them. And that's the issues that I have, especially looking at the movement itself. It was created by not only women, but women who are part of the LGBTQ, Z, whatever community. So it's a movement that doesn't represent us at all. It doesn't matter how many people that they have. The scripture says that though the wicked join hand in hand, they shall not go unpunished. It's not going to profit anything. No movement, and in my humble opinion, no movement on the existence of this earth that has started so far that has not brought in repentance, that doesn't bring in repentance, that doesn't bring in true change and bringing us back to the ways of the Most High, will ever give us the things that we're looking for, which is this institutional racism to stop, this core oppressiveness that we're experiencing in this country, and the real slavery of our mind and our spirit that's happening right now. I mean, people want to complain. People want to complain about all these different things with police officers doing what they're doing, but my issue is that if we're doing worse than the police officers are doing to us, then we have no right to complain. So Black Lives Matter is useless. It's a useless movement if it's not going to address the things that we're doing to each other in our community. That I am.
Hey, Mack, you still there, Mack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't hear you for a second. I guess you cut off. Go ahead, continue.
No. I finished my statement.
All right. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. I'm getting some notification that some people are having difficulty calling into the program. I'll check with Blog Talk Radio, see what's going on. But you can also chime in via Blog Talk at www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk for you to check out the show on Blog Talk Radio. And once again, the number is 563-999-3674. You can call in via phone, via Skype, dial that number, and let you chime in. Yeah, BA. So you heard what Mack had to say about the movement. Any response to that before we go on to the next subject?
I stand with Mac. I understand his argument, and one thing about myself, I clearly understand his point. And there are some things in the movement that are questionable. But the only thing that I am in support of, or what I do appreciate, is that they have brought some things out that people have been knowing for a very long time. So have they brought out the encounters that a lot of our people are going through when it comes to police officers? And of course, that's been going on for a guy. Like I said, we can go back and you can go back to the colonial period, when blacks were just being killed for no reason by the village armsmen, which these armsmen who patrolled the villages eventually, as time progressed, became policemen. So we see the history of slaughter and violence towards our people for years. I mean, like I said, hundreds of years. So, but the one thing I do agree with Mack is that we have to bring other things into perspective. Like I said earlier, the abortion rates, black-on-black crime, fathers not in the home, single mothers are carrying the weight and raising up these children, and the various other ills that we see. But for a movement to be successful or to be effective, I believe that we have to also recognize that we live in an unjust system. So the system most definitely needs to be destroyed, eradicated. It needs a serious check. Now, people are saying reform. We need reform, but every time you change, every time you try to go into a similar situation with new people, you get the same results. So that's not going to fix anything. This system of injustice, it just needs to be completely destroyed and eradicated. But let me make a point about movements. For example, we had the Black Panther movement. The Black Panther movement was based on self-defense of blacks in their community. That's what it was based on. But as time went on, you noticed that, or the Panthers rather, they noticed that it wasn't just blacks who were being afflicted. It was, even though that was the poster boy, that was the poster child of what was going on, but we also understood that the system was wicked because the Panthers were built on principles which were built on principles from Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. And these individuals, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, they critiqued the system. And I know there are people who don't agree with Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. It's a bunch of spookism on that. And I believe that, and the reason being is because people allow propaganda to distort their thinking on certain individuals. But overall, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin, a lot of their principles. Thank you. But pretty much overall, the principles that the Panther Party was built on was on Vladimir Lenin's perspective, some things that he believed in, and Karl Marx, and they were about justice and living in a righteous system for all people. And the Panthers, what they realized is that various people, you had poor whites, you had Latinos, and various other ethnicities in the country at the time who were most definitely being afflicted by the same system that claimed to be just, that black people were not getting type of justice at all. So what made the Panthers a threat? When they started feeding people, when they started arming up and not only just protecting black people, they started protecting various other people who were not black but who were afflicted by the same system. Fred Hampton out of Chicago. It's a prime example of bringing people together and organizing and showing people that it's the system that's causing these divisions. It's the system that's causing all of these injustice. And the only way that we're going to make things better if we work together and organize and bring some order, because this so-called system we live in, the infrastructure, they're militant. They have order. They have structure. And that's what made Fred Hampton a threat. When he started really getting people together of all ethnicities, and when they started to realize that they had a bigger enemy, they had a common enemy, he became a threat, and we know the results that happened to Fred Hampton. He was murdered in cold blood by the feds. So as you can see, overall, there are some things I do agree with that Mack brought out, And I think there's some other things that I believe that we need to address and look at the matter and look at what's going on from a overall perspective. Is there repentance that needs to be taught? Does repentance need to take place? Of course. As far as the Black Lives Matter movement, we like Mack brought up, he brought up about how it's the LGBTQ, if I'm saying that correctly. There's so many letters on it now, they keep adding on to it. But you have various other people who will be considered sinners bringing this out. Well, rather who brings it out or not, the truth still stands that there's an injustice. And I will most definitely would provoke those individuals who are living a sinful lifestyle to repent, but the fact of the matter still stands. There is a mass plethora of injustice, and not only does everybody else in the world see it, the Bible also talks about injustice. And the Bible also, the God of the Bible, which is known as Yahweh or Hashem, whichever you prefer to call him, the Most High, he most definitely has a problem with injustice. And he's a God of justice, and we see various examples of that as well. So I do understand Mack's points, but I think as Hebrews or as Christians, we don't like to deal with the social structure. We like to always point fingers at certain individuals. Let's go to the system. Let's look at how the system is wicked, which consists of all people. And, yeah, even though we have various people who are partaking in certain behaviors that are not cool, but there are also people who call themselves just, who are appearing as angels of light in certain positions who most definitely need to be aired out. Aired out, if that makes sense. But go ahead, Sal.
All right, family. Once again, you're listening to Debate Talk Radio. Today's topic, Black Lives Matter, distraction or progressive movement. Again, the new number, 563-999-3674. You can call in via phone, call in via Skype. You can also use Google Voice to call in. Make sure you call in, want to hear from the people out there. I see some people on the phone lines. Like I said, just press number 1 if you're already on the phone lines and you want to chime in, you have something to say about this particular topic, Black Lives Matter. Simply press number 1, and I'll bring you in the conversation later on in the show. But once again, the number is 563-999-3674. Now, when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement, everybody knows when George Floyd was murdered, it seemed like the Black Lives Matter movement started picking up more steam as far as popularity. And like I said, all over the world, the Black Lives Matter movement is being recognized all over the globe. There's people out there wearing Black Lives Matter merchandise. And I understand the things that you guys are pointing out when it comes to some of the criticisms against the Black Lives Matter movement. But some people would say something is better than nothing. Do you agree with those people out there when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement? Because if you do look at it, there has been a lot of things that's happening, even in the NBA and sports, football, whatever, that they're actually recognizing, the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you feel there's a positive element that needs to be heard when it comes to this movement? Let's go to Mack Thomas. Go ahead.
No, not at all. The way I feel is people who kind of this is my thing. Emmett Till, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland. I mean, at this point, it's so many names to where I can't even name them all. I can't remember all their names. And this is my issue. This stuff has been happening for years, for centuries even. So when you pick up speed, when it takes a video of the same thing that we have been seeing for years, in order for you to just say, oh, you know what, this needs to stop now, then to me, I feel like you're not genuine, because that should have been the same focus the entire time. To me, at this point, it's like you're a hot air balloon that's deflating. You're full of hot air, and you're going, but as soon as you start deflating, we can tell, because just as we see with the whole protest, is the only reason it keeps going the way that it's going is because eventually it takes another person to die. And that's how I'm seeing this movement getting played out. As much as they're destroying things, Even when I was there at the movement itself, and I was criticizing them and telling them that what you're doing is pointless, because I'm looking at every single thing that you're doing. You're not addressing the core issues, and even when I'm telling you what the core issues are, you don't want to do anything about it. When I look at Rodney King get beat down by 6 cops on camera. A whole world is watching this. This is happening in Los Angeles? And people are just burning down the buildings, destroying it. Everything is going down, looting, everything. Black people was getting sick and tired and sick and tired and sick and tired and sick and tired, because now they're seeing it on camera and they're watching the injustice just happen, and now they just start going wilding out, just start destroying stuff. But what happens? All of a sudden, the same black person, the same one that got beat up by by multiple cops, the same one is saying, "Can't we all just get along?" And that's the issue that I have, is like, so didn't we not just see you get beat down? Did we not just see all these things happen to you? Why are you telling us to calm down with what we're doing and say get along with the same people that are doing these atrocities? And I feel like that's what this movement is about. It's just basically, let's keep going until another person dies. Oh, let's start up again. Oh, another person is dead. Let's start up again. Oh, another person is dead. Let's start up again. But we're still not addressing the core issues, and we're still not fixing anything. Our emotions our emotions don't resolve anything. You can destroy multiple buildings. They're going to just build them back up. What are you going to do to destroy the institutions that keep oppressing you? If you're not going to do that, then this whole thing is not a movement. It's just emotionalism running wild. And that's why these things are happening the way that they are. That's why, to me, it's just an agenda being used to say, well, people are going crazy. Might as well get the police out and the guns out. So that's what I feel that it's all about.
All right, family. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. Again, if you want to chime in, y'all, the people that's listening on the phones, simply press number 1. Just press number 1 on your phone, and that lets me know that you have a question or a comment, and we can let your voice be heard. Again, we'd like to hear from the people on Debate Talk Radio. Once again, that number is 563-999-3674. Then press number 1. We'll add you into the conversation. BA, you want to respond to anything that you heard from Mack that you want to respond to when it comes to this Black Lives Matter movement? And like I said, there's people out there that's saying that there's a lot of good things that's happening. Of course, anything could be tweaked and enhanced eventually. But do you believe that this Black Lives Matter movement should be eradicated altogether, or there is some type of purpose for the movement? Get BA.
I believe that overall, there are some things that the Black Lives Matter movement has brought into perspective that others may not have been aware of prior to that. So there is some good that have been brought out. But at the same time, the system is still benefiting. The system is still dominating poor people. And blacks are the poster boy or the poster child of oppression on this side of the planet. So now, what can we do to be more effective to better the situation or the circumstances? Organizing is the one thing. Protesting, that's good, but you see where that's leading up to now, to where they're probably going to outlaw protesting. Or when people do get together and protest, they're probably just going to just send the boys out with all their riot gear and all their weapons, just beat everybody and just arrest people. You see what's going on in Portland right now. So there is some good, but it's not doing anything to change. Nothing's actually changing. So me overall, when I look at it, it just provokes me to change as a person. There's still some inconsistencies in me. And as a believer and a follower of Yeshua the Christ, I would say to all who believe in Christ, that this should be an eye-opener for all of us to get our houses ready, to make sure that we're on point, because you don't want to fall for the okie doke. You don't want to believe the hype. You see what's going on. Yes, the system is corrupt. Yes, things are going on that is crazy. Things are out of control. You don't want to get caught up in it. So right now, what we see and what we're witnessing, it should provoke all of us to get better with the Most High, have a personal, intimate relationship with Him. And on top of that, if we're able to bring people out the mess, we should be able to do that. I actually hear Israelites and other believers who are not interested in reaching out to other people. You have a chance to bring people out of darkness. Some of these people who are protesting are in darkness. Why would you sit back and not get involved and help those people who you know who are in darkness? It's really baffling to me. But like I would have to agree with Mack. Overall, nothing is being done, but I do recognize that there has been some good since the Black Lives Matter movement has been around. They have brought some things out that a lot of people are not aware of, because some of these people who are now living with their eyes open, they are making a difference. It has provoked people to look at the system from another perspective, and it's healthy to critique the system that we're living in, because there are so many inconsistencies and contradictions that need to be addressed. And those are my words, so.
All right, once again, you're now listening to the Debate Talk Free Radio, guys. Again, that number is 563-999-3674. Topic of the day: Black Lives Matter, distraction or progressive movement? I see people on the phone lines. Again, guys, if you're new to the show, simply press number 1, and we'll add you into the conversation. I'm also getting some feedback that some people have some technical difficulties calling into the program. Like I said, you can call in via phone, call in via Skype. There's other ways to call into the show. There's Google Voice and other apps to call into the program. So just in case you can't call in directly from your phone, you can go through Skype, Google Voice, things of that nature. Hopefully we can hear from you guys. Again, that number is 563-999-3674. But if you're already on the phone lines, just press number 1 and we'll add you to the conversation. Now, fellas, I want to know what you guys feel about the George Floyd situation. And like everybody knows, he was brutally murdered by the police officers. I want to know, like, what do you guys feel about the George Floyd situation, and how the Black Lives Matter greatly, was on the bandwagon when it came to that situation? Let me go to Mack Thomas. How you feel about the George Floyd situation? And do you feel like the Black Lives Matter situation was warranted once that happened for the uprising? Okay.
No. Sadly, no. I mean, it would be. Honestly, if it weren't for the fact that,
so you feel like nothing could have happened. You feel like the Black Lives Matter movement had nothing should have happened when it comes to this Black Lives Matter movement. How do you feel about that? Hold on, let me get this. Anyway, so first of all, too many of us have been dying already, to where at this point, myself speaking, and considering the issues that has happened in our community, honestly, it's hypocrisy. So one man dies on camera, and we all see it. He gets choked out for, about 7 minutes, crying out. Now, as we do that, as we get, pissed off, angry, aggravated, and really, really, really frustrated, I'm looking at the fact that, okay, so you're angry at that, but there's a whole institution set up to kill your children, and you're walking in that institution and doing it yourself. George Floyd had a chance. He lived his life doing whatever he was doing. Those children didn't. And there's millions of them that died by the hands of our own people. And yeah, I'm supposed to get mad at 4 cops doing this to one man? If I'm going to be angry at one thing, I should be angry at everything.
There shouldn't be no hypocrisy, and that's the issue that I have with my own people when it comes to this stuff, because they pick and choose what they want to be angry at, and it's not consistent. The Most High is angry at everything that we do that's wrong, not just one thing. He's not just looking at the cops. He's looking at George Floyd and whatever he did. He's looking at Tatiana, whatever else she did. People are not addressing those issues. The fact that I look at the people and say, well, they're sinners. The scripture says death and hell follow those who commit transgression. It follows the sinner. So I'm not surprised that I'm seeing my own people die, because the scripture says that we was going to die. But when I'm looking at the fact that my own people are willing to get angry at that, and it's wrong. Don't get me wrong, it's wrong. But when my own people are willing to get angry at that, but they're not willing to get mad and destroy an institution that was set up to murder your children, you're the one volunteering your own body to destroy the body of another child that was supposed to be born within you, who's innocent, hasn't done nothing wrong. But out of convenience, you're willing to do something like that and then turn around and be at a protest and be angry because 4 cops killed a man who lived his life, did whatever he wanted to do, probably didn't serve the Most High, and died? No. I have no sympathy for that. No, the problem is that if I'm going to be angry at that, I'm going to be angry at all injustice, no matter who does it, no matter what it is. I don't care the color of your skin. I care about what is it that you do. And if you're a hypocrite, you have no right to get angry. You have no right to look at somebody else being a murderer and you're doing the exact same thing.
All right, family. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. Now, I know, Mac, I know you're not coming from a political standpoint, but just to jump there for a little bit from a political standpoint, there's people out there like Candace Owens that are uttering the same things that you would say. Matter of fact, she has a whole video on Facebook discrediting the whole George Floyd murder, things of that nature. How do you feel about, you actually, some of the things that you're saying, you may be citing with, I know, again, you're not coming from a Republican standpoint, but Republicans actually speak and say the things, other things that you're saying. How do you feel about that?
I could care less. These people are nothing but liars, and, whatever they do, they don't. My thing is this: they could say the things that they're saying, which is true. No different than there's a senator that's running for. There's a Tennessee senator running. His last name is Manny, and he basically was getting on Black Lives Matter and saying that, Black Lives Matter doesn't really care because 20 million children were aborted. And I look at that as they're being children, and so I care about children's lives. And he was basically bashing Black Lives Matter for that. I personally feel as if, well, they can say that all they want to, and it's legitimate criticisms. Black Lives Matter does not want to address none of those things. The issue is that none of these people that are criticizing Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, they themselves are not trying to give a legitimate solution for our community. My thing is this, and I respect BA for what he says about, just agreeing with the fact that these institutions are still up and running. The only thing I don't like, and no offense to him, but the only thing I don't like is when it comes to adding other people's suffering, because the issue is that nobody is being attacked the way that we are, systematically oppressed to this point. Nobody set up an institution for the sole purpose to kill our people like this. Nobody set up an entire institution set up to oppress and destroy our people And on top of that, make a mockery by counting the fact that for 400 years, we knew we was oppressing you. We knew that we was doing all these things to you. And we just want to hear, what is it that you Negroes want to talk to us about since you want to talk about some reparations? What exactly do you want? Oh, okay, we heard your complaints. Next, moving on. And that's how they treat us. Nobody ever faces something like that. None of us, none of these other nations ever experienced something like this. That's an insult and a shame. And the reason why this is happening is because we as people, as Hebrews, as people that are a nation, are not acting like one. Japan does not cry out to the United States saying, hey, give us respect. Hey, stop killing us like this. Hey, stop doing this. Japan doesn't do that. Why? Because it's a nation, and they demand respect because they as a nation understand who they are. We don't. Whenever the things that we're complaining about, all we're doing is just making noise like children. But we're not grouping up together as a nation and saying, you know what, this stuff is wrong. We need to operate as a nation and get away from these people, separate from everybody, work on ourselves, and let's stop and let's work out the things that's destroying us, and then we're able to combat against these people trying to come in and destroy us as well.
All right, once again, family, you're now listening to Debate Talk Radio. We're talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. Is it a distraction or is it a progressive movement? That number to call in is 563-999-3674. Remember, anybody can chime in. Anybody that's listening via phone, once you dial that number, simply press number 1, and we want to hear from you guys. Only rule that we have, there's no foul language. You got to keep it clean, keep it professional, but definitely we'd like to hear from the people out there. Again, the number is 563-999-3674. And for those people having difficulty calling into the show, you can actually download an app called Google Voice. It's a free app. It's absolutely free. And you can actually call in using that app. Because I understand some phone lines, some servers are not allowing some people to call into the program. But we do have next special guest here. Vinny D is in the building. Vinny D, welcome to the show.
Hey, peace, everybody. Back on the air, huh?
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Back, Season 11. Now, you heard some of the things that Mack was saying. But actually, if you didn't hear, originally we were talking about, of course, George Floyd. The whole George Floyd situation. He was murdered, of course, everybody knows, by the cops, police officers. And the Black Lives Matter movement seemed like there was a rising, uprise of the movement. I want to know what you feel about it. And as you can hear, some of the people, especially if you guys don't agree with a lot of things that the Black Lives Matter movement represents. What say if you? What do you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement? Of course, also, before you go there, touch on the whole George Floyd situation. Okay.
Yeah. It just seems like it's the same old story to me. Well, we definitely we're definitely dying a lot. And I don't think it's that we're dying any less. It's just that it's just being more publicized, or we just have more access to it, or to being able to view it through social media. So, I mean, anytime somebody dies, man, it's never a good thing, because it doesn't just affect one person. It affects, like, it's a lot of family that get it affects, and then also in this case, it affects a whole lot of other people, And I mean, I definitely understand where Mack is coming from, and but the thing I would say is, like, most of these people, I think that, especially in the Black Lives Matter movement, I believe most of them have the right intentions. But I do think that there are some, especially maybe even the ones who are in charge of it, I think they have ulterior motives. But I also think that it's mainly for their community, because from my understanding, it serves like a community that I don't agree with, as far as, like, man on man and woman on woman. But I mean, with that said, you know, nobody likes oppression. Nobody likes to feel oppressed, you know, and it's understandable they feel oppressed in their movement, and then also, you know, with us or any kind of black folks or any kind of minority, you know, we all feeling the same oppression, you know, and I think people are going about it the best way that they know how to deal with it. I mean, those who are genuine at least. And I just think that, you know, nobody really knows the right way to attack these issues. And I think that, I think that everything is lined up in the Bible, to be honest with you. And knowing that, I think that it's up to the people who know that, you know, the order that it's supposed to be like, for us to, as Brother Judah would say, be the vanguards. You know, we're supposed to be out there showing people how to deal with these type of situations, because it's all fighting. When it all boils down to it, it's all fighting an oppressive, money-hungry system. You know, and I don't even think it's the money part. You know, I think it's more or less power, to be honest. You know, because a lot of them have much more money than they can even imagine. You know what I'm saying? But it's just I believe it's just like this greed, you know, and this affinity towards power that most people get attracted to, you know. So that's what I think it, you know, mainly is, man. The system is like I caught a little bit of what BA was saying, and I know that we agree on this, is just that the system is just like a beast system, and it's just real wicked. And I just think that people don't really know how to go about dealing with it. So I think it's up to people who have an idea to get out there and, you know, be lights to the situation.
All right. Once again, that's Vinny D. We appreciate your input. Stand by. Once again, that number is 563-999-3674. Black Lives Matter, distraction or progressive movement is the topic. Now, a lot of things are being brought out. You know, some of the pros and cons about the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's go to BA real quick. Hey, BA, so, you know, you pointed out a couple things when it comes to the movement. Is there anything possible that the Black Lives Matter movement can do to get your support, and what is that, if they can? Go ahead.
Well, like I said, I support the movement as far as bringing a light to the issues and bringing a light to contradictions and inconsistencies. But if they would like to get my full support, no matter, I wouldn't necessarily say get my full support, but what I would like to see, because I'm an activist as well, and I try to do things myself to bring things out, through not just through my music, but through just other means here on Debate Talk for You, and just building with other people locally in my community where I can make a difference at where I live. But what I would like to see Black Lives Matter address the various inconsistencies and contradictions within the black community. Let's talk about the convenience revolutionary complex that we have going on now. Everybody's a revolutionary. We know it's only good to be conscious because it's trending on social media. Everybody's a social justice warrior now. So I think that the Black Lives Matter movement, if they want to be taken serious, they need to, this culture of putting everything on social media for views and hits and likes, that has to stop, because it just seems like to me when someone gets assaulted or murdered or mistreated by a police officer, the movement's coming to your city or to your town or to your state as soon as something happens. That's how you're relevant. And if you want to get in with the clique, you got to make sure something happens with somebody in your community so we can most definitely get that going. So I will most definitely stop trying to make this a trend on social media. That's one. Number two, address the issues within the black community. Why are the fathers missing? The relations between male and female. Why is it that black men and black women are not able to come together? I was talking to a sister a couple of weeks ago. She brought something up to me. She said it is statistically, black men are known to marry their women last. Last. There's also some numbers that say that black men normally marry their women later in life, like after their mid-30s. Why is that happening? Why is that a constant trend? And that just shows there is a miscommunication between the two. It shows there is a definite problem. It shows from an overall perspective socially that we don't know how to communicate with each other. So if Black Lives Matter, we most definitely have to get the black men and black women back on point. And not just that, so we can have healthy black families. So we can have a constant trend of more black fathers in the home with the mother raising the children up. So, and I think if they did, that overall, they will be much more effective. Because before we go out into the world as individuals, where we come from, it makes a big difference. I know it made a big difference with me, and I can probably speak for everybody here, where we come from before we become our own individual person. Most definitely, where we came from, what a household or the structure we came out of made a big difference. It made a big impact on who we were as a person, going into society for the first time at the age between 18 and up. But one thing I want to say with Mack is that I understand Mack's point, but and as another brother of the faith to another brother, what we have to realize is that when it comes to our people, we understand that we believe that our people are the children, other people are the book. And he brought something up about we need to come together as a people, and because the system is totally against us, which I do agree, we need to come together. But guess what? There's only one individual that's going to bring Israel together, and that's Hashem himself, the Father. He said, and he also said in the curses, he said, I will rejoice over you to curse you, and I will rejoice over you to bless you. Said only he will bring Israel together. So we know that when we try to come together with everybody else who may have a different perspective than us, it never works. Because why? Because we're cursed. So now all of a sudden, but with Israel, we made a covenant. See, one thing about it is, being an Israelite, that's a beautiful thing to come into understanding and know who you are. I'm with that 100%. But this is what bothers me. We can sit here and we can acknowledge the fact that we're Israel. We're the people of the book. We're God's chosen people. What was the purpose? To be a light to the nations. But we're trying to sit here and come together with everybody else. No, that's not going to happen because Hashem said himself that I will bring you together. But since we got enough sense and we got all these tools and all these devices and all these that's brought to our attention that we're making us aware that we're the people of the book. We know who we are. You're supposed to be carrying out your end of the deal. Love thy neighbor, serve the Most High, and love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And on top of that, part of loving thy neighbor as you love thyself is by introducing these people to the God that we serve and how great and powerful he is. And we should be a living example of how great he is. So I'm with the brothers trying to come together, but at the same time, we know that's not going to happen because the Most High is only going to bring us together. And if we're going to call ourselves Israel, we better be a light to the nations or the other people who are not Israel. We're supposed to be showing them how to walk and how to do things according to the way that the book teaches us. And with that, Sal, I'm fall back.
All right, family. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. That's right, family. We have a brand new number. Blog Talk gave us a brand new number. That's 563-999-3674. Make sure you save that number. You can call in via phone, via Skype, as I mentioned earlier, via Google Voice, and make sure your voice is heard. We do have a caller standing by. I'm going to get to that caller. But those that are new to the program, this show airs Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. However, some days we don't book shows Monday to Friday, so you have to check the schedule on www.blogtalkradio.com/debate talk for you. It comes on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can just call in. Once you call in, you can hear if there's a show at 8 p.m. or not. So make sure you check the schedule, check the program. But let's go to the callers. Once again, the number is 563-999-3674. No foul language. You got to keep it clean, keep it professional, because we have some people who listen with their kids and the elderly. So let's go to the phone lines. 504, you're live in the air.
Yes, God bless you, and Jared, everybody's comments, and it's great to hear the spiritual issues that we deal as a black people dealing with racism. Part of, I think, problems that blacks are having with families. Prior to integration, they said up to 80% of black families were intact. Meaning there was a man in the house, there was a woman in the house, and then, of course, you had your children. Then going back to right after enslavement, that you heard stories about black men trying to locate their black families who may have been disrupted due to enslavement, due to slavery. I heard one story when men would walk 100 miles just to find their families, just to find his wife and his children. Just people were sold from plantation to plantation. So I think we definitely have a history going from enslavement up to pre-integration of black families being intact and blacks wanting to be an intact family unit. But it seems like since integration has come along, we've been conditioned out of even seeing what a black family looks like. Some of us have not been used to seeing a man in the house having a wife and children. So it's such a rarity for some people that it's something that they really can't even conceive of, unfortunately, because their parents didn't go through it, their grandparents or great-grandparents were intact also. So I think that's something that we have to ask God's assistance, that we use God's wisdom and knowledge so that we can bring back the intact black family.
All right, man. We appreciate those comments, man. Once again, anybody can call in, family. Again, it's 563-999-3674. I'm going to go to the panel, and I see you guys in the chat room. I see you, Pata. I'm going to read some of your comments in a minute. Like I said, if you're in the chat room, I'm going to read some of your questions, some of your comments, so everybody can hear what's going on. But I'm looking at the chat room right now. So once again, I appreciate the people in the chat room. Let's go to the family. Let's go to Mack. Anything you want to comment on that?
I don't think nothing he said was anything wrong with that. I think that it's sad that we've basically come this far and that we've been broken down to this point. It used to be back in the day, a woman would give her life for her children, and then some. And now, we freely give our children over to everything and anything to be destroyed. Fathers used to be, those the type of men that say, hey, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. And it was literal. So, and now the father's not even in the home to even say those type of words. And, the son is just brought up in any device, to the point to where he's tricked out by Satan, to think that it's okay to be a female. I mean, it's just bad all the way around. I definitely appreciate BA's comment. I mean, yeah, I definitely get it. It's only going to definitely take the Most High to rectify us, to change us, to make us the light of the world that we were always meant to be as a nation. But I still think we got to still do what I just believe we got to do what we can, by the work of the Most High and whatever grace He gives us. I feel as if that when we read these scriptures and when we get an understanding, is that there's no sense of building up a people or building up other people, and you can't even build yourself up. Just like it says in the scriptures, how can you basically deliver liberty, but you yourself are a servant of corruption? So, the way I look at our community and the way I look at us as individuals, we have to be at liberty ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to be continual people trying to give liberty to others, but we ourselves are servants of corruption. We don't have anything. We can't enjoy anything because we're constantly being destroyed and taken advantage of, not because of just what man does to us, but because of what the Most High allows man to do, because He said He would do it. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate the man who called. I appreciate his wisdom.
All right, like I said, see, we got more callers on the phone lines, guys. Press number 1. If you already called in, press number 1. If you didn't and you're listening on social media, that number, once again, 563-999-3674. It's a brand new number, so I'm going to keep repeating it. That's 563-999-3674. Let me read some of the comments in the chat room before we move on. I see 864. I'm going to get your call. Stand by. This is from Pata. He says, let me see. The BLM has already made their position clear. No black nuclear family. Only focus on trans men. There is no place for the hetero male in the BLM village, as they call it. Allegedly, actually, there's a I don't know, I haven't looked into this, but there's a rumor that there were 3 LGBT women that started the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't know how true that is. That's just what's out there on social media. I have to do some research on that. But if that's true, I want to have you guys chime in on that. How do you guys feel about that? I don't do any research about that, but allegedly that's the rumor out there when it comes to how the movement actually got started. But also, let me see, Flycatch. What's going on, Flycatch? You say BM is nothing more than a fundraiser for the DNC. In addition to this ploy, they are a proclaimed Marxist organization. All right, so there's people out there that feel the same way a lot of people feel out there. Man, okay. Hold on, guys. Let me go back to the panel. Wait, let me go to the caller, though. Again, the number is 563-999-3674. Again, remember, family, there's no foul language. Once you call in, keep it clean, keep it professional. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to 864. You're live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey, doing pretty good.
That's great. That's great. Black Lives Matter has definitely shown itself as, being a bunch of crap. I feel like just as the civil rights movement and what I hear from the elders from the 60s, it's another, organization looking to jump on the backs of the pain of black oppression here in America. And the emotions, right? They're looking to jump on the backs of that just as feminism did in the 60s. And what we find is that in the course of the movement, just as you guys spoke about trans lives matter and gay lives matter, and it's not long enough before you say black lives matter before all other lives matter or all lives matter. And the reality is that the trans group of people, they aren't being collectively or massively being mistreated, being shot unarmed by the police. When you look at the gays aren't being ostracized. They aren't being shot down. We don't see those. We don't see that footage. But what we see is them hopping on the backs of a real humanitarian issue that has been going on with black folk for a very long time, right? We're still getting hung in trees, right? We're still we still are seeing the same spit in our face as we did 100 years ago, or even 60, 40 years ago. So, even when you guys talked about the 3 women, homosexual women, from my study, that is very true. From my study and research, it does lead me back to George Soros. There was a brother, if you guys haven't forgotten, but Black Lives Matter, it all started in Ferguson, and that was in St. Louis, right? And what I found, I remember there was a brother named Darren D. Seals. That brother was very vocal, and he and some comrades were very vocal. They were putting their all, as we were talking about the pain and oppression of black folk that really care about black folk and the situations that are going on. They were putting their all into getting people to rally up and to be concerned, doing the protests and things of that nature. And that's when you saw the introduction of Black Lives Matter. Now, rest in power to the brother, but the brother was very vocal about who Black Lives Matter was, his confrontation, what he saw with the boots on the ground experience, right? And like I said, rest the brother's soul, but he's not talked about. And he was the one that actually exposed Black Lives Matter, but he mysteriously got killed. He was found shot and burned in his vehicle, right? And also there was another comrade of his, I forgot the brother's name, and maybe more, that they ran in the same circle. They mysteriously died, right? Because they were being vocal. They were being very vocal, not only in the Mike Brown case, but explicitly talking about Black Lives Matter. You understand? So, I think when you look further down the rabbit hole, if you actually have your knowledgeable goggles on and are able to see past the bull crap, you can actually see the bigger picture. You understand? Even looking at George Soros, the more that I looked at him, he has relationship with Bill Clinton, with the Epsteins, with Jeffrey Epstein. You understand? So this is a big thing. So I definitely encourage us as people that in the case of us speaking about Black Lives Matter, we're not down talking black life. You understand? We're talking about, hey, it's starting all with black family. It's nothing about replacing the black woman with men on men and vice versa. No, we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to have a Black Lives Matter movement, and in that same movement, now we're going to have trans lives, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing, they're sporting there was an actual, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina, and in the Juneteenth festival, there was a homosexual guy that I'm not sure why they employed this guy, why they had him out there, but he was the host. And it wasn't long enough. He couldn't talk about the overwhelming amount of injustices done to black folks before he talked about, well, you're going to need gay lives, gay lives matter as well. Basically talking to some black women, some black mothers that I know, right? Because they were not picking that up.
So you're saying they're trying to integrate the LGBT movement with the Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely. I saw that. I saw that firsthand. And I think it's very important for us to have these discussions and, not be wayward. We can't be afraid to appoint this discussion, because they kind of roll in a bullying type of manner. Well, if you said something against gay lives, then point that person. No, we're talking about our organic family unit, and that's the thing that has been compromised.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, brother. What's your name, man? Where you from?
Equani.
Oh, man, you put a plethora of good information out there, man. I appreciate your call. Once again, family, that number is 563-999-3674. Fly Catch, I'm looking at your comment. He says George Floyd died from a drug-induced heart attack and not what we are being told. I don't know about that one, brother. I don't know about that one. But let's go to the panel real quick. Vinny D, anything that you heard that you want to talk about or you want to comment on? Go ahead, bro.
I make a lot of good points. And peace to all the callers. And I recognize the last caller from the last season. Peace to y'all. But you know what the weird thing is, man. It's like I really think it all. I mean, it pretty much just goes down to us doing the right thing. I mean, because personally, man, I don't think, like, even without other people getting involved, like just dealing with the statement Black Lives Matter, that's saying a lot, and that's taking on a big responsibility. And I don't think that everybody is really serious about what it takes to really back that statement up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of people listen to like all type of different music, because black people produce the music, and then the music is sitting over there talking, disrespect, pretty much white supremacy, and I use that term because that's where we're at, but it's supremacy, but and then the way we treat our women, we don't. I don't know, man. We look at them as, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us look at our women as sex objects, talking to them, then you got people who can't, who treat women like men, on the streets if, they don't get their way, So I mean, it's a lot that goes into Black Lives Matter, and if people screaming Black Lives Matter, and then I see them doing these things or participating in like these reality shows that's really tearing us down and all of this other stuff, man, I can't really take them serious. You know what I'm saying? I can't really take them serious because it's like you got your left hand behind your back with a shank, and you're holding up the peace sign with your right hand. So I just really can't take them serious, and it's just I feel like we got a long way to go.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually shocked.
It all starts.
I'm actually shocked. I would think that there would be more people calling in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, because I'm in New York City and there's a lot of supporters out here for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do see other people out there, but they're more from the Republican based, politically speaking, against the Black Lives Matter movement. I see you, Flycat. You says if BLM matters, then let us start in Chicago. All right, with all that shit in Chicago, huh? I hear you, Flycat. But hold on.
Hey,
that's
a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point, man. Like, you got all these people protesting about police shootings, but then you got all these people dying in Chicago, and I don't see no BLM out there, we march and we want to fight and we want to do all this stuff when it's other people killing us, but when we killing each other, it ain't. Cause I remember back in the day, man, like when my parents was coming up, with the stories of like the they used to call them the drop squad or whatever. They used to go around and pick up like the pimps and the drug dealers and stuff, and stick them in the van and go, take them to somewhere and go beat some sense into them, scare them and everything. It ain't nothing like that no more, man. Ain't nothing like that no more. It just, we scream Black Lives Matter, but what does that really mean? That's why it's important. Like, we got to let our light shine, because all of us who understand what it really means, we got to definitely let our light shine, and just try to get whatever kind of sense the Most High gonna let most people have, into them, or help out with the process. I yield.
All right, family, we still got some time, guys. Once again, it's Black Lives Matter Distraction of Progressive Movement. The number is 563-999-3674. That's 563-999-3674. If you're already on the phone line, all you got to do is press number 1, and that lets me know that you have a question or a comment that you want to have live on the air. The show is recorded, family. Just to let you guys know, the show is recorded. You can check it out on Blog Talk later on. Of course, you can check us out on YouTube. Just type in the search box, Debate Talk, the number 4, letter U on YouTube. Subscribe to the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, we're on Apple iTunes in the podcast section. For those who don't know, just type in the search box again for that, Debate Talk for You. And check out every show absolutely free. Again, this is season 11 of Debate Talk for You. But let's go. We're going to pretty much wrap it up really soon. And again, if you want to chime in, family, you feel free to. Before you wrap it up, just press number 1. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down the line, and we're going to get some final words from everybody. Again, I appreciate you guys for chiming in on this one. But let's go down. Let's go to Brother B.A. B.A., final words, brother. Go ahead.
I appreciate all the callers that called in. I appreciate all the brothers on the panel. Brother Vinny was good with your town business, and Brother Mack. Overall, we see there's a serious issue. We see that. We see a lot of inconsistencies. We see a lot of problems within the black community. And even though we may have our opinions on Black Lives Matter, one thing that we all can admit, and I'm pretty sure we may all agree, is that they have brought out some things that most people in America nowadays are more aware of. Because prior to George Floyd being murdered and prior to these other people who were murdered in cold blood, you had people who had no idea that these injustices to black people were happening. So I believe that that's the only good thing that I would agree with. But is there room for improvement? Of course. Now, I don't support the same-sex marriages. I don't support that personally. I don't. So I'm all about the black family, and I am aware of the trannies and various other people who wants to jump on the back of this movement and make themselves relevant. And we most definitely, I mean, like the brother said, the last caller, we most definitely have to address that. We're not going around speaking against people who live that type of way or who live that type of way, but we have to come to terms where we're able to talk about it and see who the manipulators are. And one thing I will also say, a person who is, rather they be same-sex, gay, lesbian, or the various other names they want to call themselves, that is a personal choice. They do not speak for all black people. And the reason why I say that, because there's a trend going on, and this has been going on for the last couple of years, I'm pretty sure all may have heard it, that gay is the new black, or attacking gay people is the same thing as attacking black people, how it used to be back in during the Civil Rights Movement. And that is the most disrespectful thing that I've ever heard. So, of course, people who choose to have a sexual preference, they're human beings, and all human beings should be treated as equals. No matter what your sexual preference is, if you choose to live a certain lifestyle, according to the laws of this land, you're supposed to be treated with justice. You're supposed to be treated with respect. So I don't advocate violence toward a person that has a sexual preference that I don't agree with. But like I said before, the same-sex marriages, the trannies, the LGBTQ, and all those individuals, they should not be the voice when it comes to other human beings being oppressed. And with that, I'm going to fall back.
All right, once again, Brother BA, we appreciate you for coming on. And remember, family, the Man Up segment is coming back in September. As a matter of fact, to be exact, September 1st will be the first edition segment for season 11 for the Man Up segment right here on Debate Talk Radio. So make sure you check us out September 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live right here on Debate Talk for you. So don't miss the Man Up segment hosted by our Brother BA. We appreciate you for coming on. All right, let's go to Vinny. Vinny, any last words? Go ahead.
I like to say, this is a pretty good topic, man, and I think it needs to be delved into a little bit more, and then hopefully more callers can call in, and kind of get their opinions on it. Peace to you, Sal. Brother BA, always a pleasure. Brother Mack, same to you, my man. And I just want to say, man, like we really have to understand what it means for Black Lives to Matter. We must understand that, because if it's just a term or something that we just toss around when things get rough, or when it just directly affects us, and or it's trending like the Brother BA said, then I mean they don't really matter, man. We got to get more proactive, and we just got to start treating each other, with the type of respect that we think that we deserve. So, I pray that everybody gets on the same page. And I'm not criticizing the intent, even though that I do believe that there's some disingenuous people out there who tag along to the slogan or whatever. But we just got to start dealing with us, man, because ain't nobody gonna be able to pull us out of this oppression, man. Number one, it has to come, be of the Most High first and foremost. But number two, we can't rely on nobody else to get us out of this, man. It's all incumbent on us, and this is a good starting point. So, I mean, if we really mean business and we really are about that slogan or whatever, then let's push it to the front, man. Let's take care of our own agenda, and let's start policing our own communities. But I don't really mean policing like putting on a badge and a gun and putting people in jail and stuff. Just policing, like let's be more cognizant of the music that we watch, what we put into our kids' heads, the information that our kids take in. It's just respecting our elders, respecting our own people, respecting each other like we want to be treated. And, it goes a long way, man. And I think that before we can actually say that Black Lives Matter or, get along with other people, I think we got to really clean up our house first. Because otherwise, even if we get the results that we want, like, police brutality or whatever the case may be, less deaths or whatever, if we don't build that strong foundation, then it's just going to fall apart and we're going to be back in this situation later on. So I'd like to say peace to the family. Great to be back on. Great that the show's back on again. And, until next time.
All right, once again, Vinny D, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you coming on the platform. And just to let you guys know that, like the debates, we got a debate lined up for your family. We got a debate lined up for you. Mark this down on August 21st. That's a Friday, August 21st. We have a debate lined up between Robert Reed versus Israel Doctrine. The title of that debate is Polygyny Iniquity. Once again, we're jumping into that polygyny topic again. Is polygyny iniquity? You don't want to miss that debate live here on Blog Talk Radio. Debate Talk for you, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, August 21st. Be here live and check it out, and make sure you call in with your questions and your comments. We'd love to hear from the people. 563-999-3674. Brand new number. Make sure you save that to your cell phones. Put it on speed dial. Last but not least, let's go to Mack Thomas with his final words. Mack, go ahead.
Man, now you make me want to go to that debate. I really need a phone. No, on a serious note, though, I'm grateful for BA and grateful for Vinny D. I'm definitely glad that they did not agree with Black Lives Matter. I was hoping nobody would. Me with my feet on the ground and just seeing the way the people. I care about my people. I care about this nation. I care about who the Most High has called us to be, because I truly feel as if that, if the Most High would just open up our eyes, like just immediately, just like that, we would just be on the right track. Because it's sad, we've come from, when you read in the book of Judges, it's a Levite man after a woman that he had a relationship with, that he, wanted to reconcile with her, winds up getting killed by, sodomites, and then he cuts her body up and sends it to all the men of the 12 tribes. He sends it to the chief men of the 12 tribes, and they all come as one man to say what has happened to this woman, because we have not seen this since we have left Egypt. We've never seen this before. And they all say, we're going to find who these people are, and we're going to destroy them. And that's what I would like to see my people do, is that, this institution of abortion, we have not seen something like this before, where people have set up an institution to destroy us. Let's find out who this person is. Let's find these institutions and destroy every last one of them. Let's destroy these school systems. Let's destroy these jails. Let's destroy all this stuff that is bringing our people down, all these drugs, every single drug dealer in our community. Let's destroy them. Every single person that is treating a woman wrong, let's make an example out of them. Stuff like this is what I would love to see in my people in the future, to where I don't have to deal with this anymore. I don't have to feel ashamed and at the same time angry, because I'm looking at the fact that we have a legitimate reason to be angry, but it's put on the back burner because of our own hypocrisy. And so it's a sad reality. And I'm looking at the movement itself ran by women who's part of this community that does nothing for our people. The Most High never told us to have any fellowship with these people. And this is what it's come down to. Like the scripture says in the book of Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 3, it says, women are your oppressors and children rule over you. This is the issues that I'm facing. Like I'm facing a movement. I'm facing a movement of my people to where they're ruled by children and we're oppressed by women. And it makes no sense. We as men, when we try to call these things out, when we try to stand up and we try to walk in the perspective that the Most High told us to be as men, we're getting called out as being misogynist. We're getting called out as being men that are like too far back in the Stone Age and stuff like that. And we can't really formulate our family unit the way we should, because we're living in a time period to where people don't want that no more. And so I would rather see a standard being set. I would rather see the scriptures being sought out, and that our people would stop playing these games with all these nations and their ways. And so we can just get back to the way of the Most High and be free, finally be as a nation. Stop looking for the government. Stop looking for the LGBT. Stop looking for a bunch of pedophiles, a bunch of liars, thieves, drunkards, whores, and whoremongers to support us. Stop looking at these people to support us and look at the Most High. You know? So I definitely appreciate you, Sal, for having me on the panel. Till next time, guys. Shalom.
All right, that was Mack Thomas. We appreciate you. And I appreciate, of course, all the special guests on the panel. Make sure you tune in this Thursday. Spiritual Food segment is back as well, family, with Amayan and Gabar. That's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Blog Talk Radio. And for those of you that want to be a special guest, anybody that want to be a special guest on the show, all you got to do, send me an email, debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. That's debatetalk, the number 4, letter U @gmail.com. Leave your contact information and let me know what you want to speak about, and we can bring you on the program. All you got to do is have a phone to call in to be a special guest on this program. So once again, family, we appreciate you guys. And for those out there that actually support the program, because I like to hear from all sides, email me. If you want to have a part 2, but you support the Black Lives Matter, we can do a part 2. I want to hear from you guys as well. So once again, we appreciate the family out there. Take care, and God bless.
Don't touch that dial. You're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio.